Here we go again, Squatchers. Get out your headphones and let's take a trip deep into Texas for more vocals coming straight from the Big Thicket. That's right. Join us as Reverend Jeff brings us more news of the week. More El Dorado Bigfoot watch news on the campout that's coming very, very soon. And a few new surprises thrown right in there for you folks. That's right. Tune in, because it's going to be a great show tonight. And now, with no further ado, here's a man whose beard increases his IQ by at least 30 points. The Reverend Jeff Kelly.
That's right, everybody. The beard increases my IQ by at least 30 points. Why is that? Well, because it thinks for itself. Welcome, everybody, to the Squatchers Lounge podcast. I am your host, the Reverend Jeff Kelly. I'm here. You're there. Makes the whole thing awesome. And we are going to get down to it tonight. That's right. We're going back to Texas and the Big Thicket Preserve. Apparently there's a lot of action that goes on there, and tonight I've got some interesting things to let you listen to and make your mind up for yourself. But first, as always, we start out with the news. That's right, the news of the week. Yeah, that's right. Family's asking for public help after 63-year-old hiker disappears on the new Bigfoot trail. Apparently, she dropped her dad off and the dog at Ides Cove's trailhead about 2.5 hours west of Corning on June 15th to hike the new Bigfoot trail. They expected to meet him in Hayfork on June 21st to provide him with supplies on the next line of his journey, but he never showed up. So keep an eyeball out for this guy out there on the Bigfoot trail. If you come across him, the people are looking for him. Apparently, they still have not found him yet. We've been looking for updates on this, and there still haven't been any. So, if you see this dog wandering around with a red harness and leash, and or the guy without the dog, then you know you're probably in the right case. Give them a call. All right, the cranium of a 4-million-year-old hominid shows similarities to that of modern humans, says Phys.org. Anyhow, cranium of a 4-million-year-old fossil in 1985 was described as the oldest evidence of human evolution in South Africa, has shown similarities to that of our own when scanned through the highest resolution imaging systems. We're going to find out so much more about these fossils as time goes on. Just as the technology increases, we're able to look at them closer and closer to see what is us, what isn't us, what became us, what didn't become us. Now, these are in South Africa, so they kind of went the wrong way to become us. There's more like Homo naledi, but apparently the cranium of the extinct Australopithecus genus was found in the lower lying deposits of the Jakovic cavern in the Sterkfontein caves. Good God, people, get better last names and name stuff after. Anyhow, it was just neat to see that even 4 million years ago, when we weren't who we are now, we had signs of already going this way. Speaking of things of going this way, Neanderthals hunted in bands and speared prey up close. That's right, bitches. Take that. Neanderthals were capable of sophisticated collective hunting strategies, according to the analysis of prehistoric animal remains from Germany that contradicts the enduring image of these early humans as knuckle-dragging brutes. The cut marks or hunting lesions on the bones of 220,000-year-old deer provide the earliest smoking gun evidence such weapons were used to stalk and kill prey, according to the study in the Journal of Nature Ecology and Evolution. That's right. Another Phys.org gives you a lot of interesting ideas. But yeah, throw and spear, they're still looking for, ways to debilitate the deer. They didn't really understand the internals to know to shoot them in the front shoulder. But if you can knock out that back leg, it makes them a whole lot slower. That's for sure. So you can check that one out while you're out there as well. A little bit of sad news this week. Coco the gorilla, mastered sign language, finally dies at the ripe old age of 46. And for being in captivity, that's actually pretty old for a gorilla. In the wild, they'll live to be, 35, 45, maybe even as old as 50. In captivity, they tend to live a lot less. Coco the gorilla, who mastered sign language and counted the actor Robin Williams and Red Hot Chili Peppers Flea among her friends, has finally passed away. The gorilla died in her sleep at the Foundation's Preserve in California's Santa Cruz Mountains on Tuesday. Coco was born at the San Francisco Zoo, and Dr. Francine Penny Patterson began teaching the gorilla sign language that became part of the Stanford University's project in 1974. So she's been under study for a very, very long time, and she was very well loved, and she will be very well missed. Okay, question. California Alumni Association brought us the Dr. Krantz articles last week. This week they're bringing us another Bigfoot related. What's the alumni at Berkeley trying to tell us? Does science benefit from the search for Sasquatch? According to them, it's different to get respect when you work. Difficult to get respect when you work in a field that is referred to as pseudoscience, which is very true. I get no respect. No respect, I tell you. Cryptozoology, the study of animals as yet undiscovered, relies heavily on folklore, citizen accounts, and amateur data collection to prove that legendary creatures like Bigfoot and Yeti actually exist. In the absence of empirical evidence and of the skepticism intrinsic to the scientific inquiry, such methods can be troubling, if not irritating, to the mainstream scientists. Yeah, they hate us. We know they hate us. But they do seem to be some agreement among academics that creatures of folklore deserve some scientific investigation. Why? Because cryptic studies have long led to actual discoveries. That's right. So don't give up your search for the big one. You can check out this at the alumni.berkeley.edu, their California magazine. Yep, that's where this one comes from as well. Don't forget to check out the Squatchers Lounge podcast merchandise on redbubble.com/people/Bigfoot watch. That's right. You'll actually be able to check out the designs for the podcast itself. Get you a podcast t-shirt or a mug or a sticker to go on the car. That's right. Why? Well, because you need to show your pride. That's right. The Squatchers Lounge pride. I don't know. That's just sounded good for the moment. And with that, people, that's going to wrap up the news. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That's where we are. The old Jeb and Sir is getting ready for a big fishing trip with the family, so we've got no camping tips for stupids this week. However, we do happen to have a Quasi theory rewind. Yeah, because I went and dug that one out. I like it. That's the way. I like it. So let's take a listen to the Divine One. And now, Quasi Theories from a Quasi Scientist with your host, Dean Cooper.
Divining divination. This quasi was originally going to be on applied phrenology, an invention of mine that used the old method of determining personality traits by feeling the bumps and dips on the outside of the cranium. After feeling up a client's noggin, the phrenologist would then consult a chart of a generalized skull with the areas of various personality traits drawn on the skull to do a character analysis of the client. A bump here meant one thing, a divot there another. This lump says you have criminal tendencies. That flat spot says you love children, maybe a little too much. Applied phrenology would use a mallet, ball peen hammer, and maybe a flat iron to correct evil tendencies and enhance good qualities by enlarging or flattening the appropriate place on the skull. I decided not to do a quasi on that. Please feel free to use my invention however you see fit. No, when I started looking up phrenology, I got other references to other forms of divination and got distracted. I blame Google. Just on Wikipedia, I found a list with over 100 kinds, and that was just under the one starting with A, B, and C. Let's list a few in no particular order. We all know about horrification. I mean, who hasn't tried to figure out what's going to happen next by examining the guts of some animal you have sacrificed for that purpose, especially sheep and poultry? I did that both in high school and college, looking for how to pass the biology class. The liver was the favorite organ for many, and that aspect of horrification is called hepatoscopy, which means looking at a liver. Batrachomancy is divination by watching frogs. Armomancy is divination by having one's shoulders examined. Labiomancy uses the lips on the mouth. Get your minds out of the gutter. Then there's the always popular necromancy. How about abacomancy, reading dust? Gematria is one of my favorites. The modern form is numerology. Gematria assigns a numeric value to each letter of a given alphabet. You then add, subtract, divide, multiply, hell, maybe take the square root of the numbers you come up with when you translate the letters of your name or whatever into the numeric equivalent. I'm just going to list some more with no explanation. Getomancy, katabomancy, platonomancy, drumomancy, micromancy, molybdomancy, scathromancy. This is driving my spell corrector nuts. I'll end with a completely idiotic one, a modern one, only possible since the invention of digital playlists, shufflemancy. Yes, there are those among us who believe you can predict the future based on putting your favorite playlist on shuffle and examining what the shuffle comes up with. I am sure that a good horrification would be more accurate, if you got the guts to do it. This has been Dean Cooper, Quasi-Scientist, enlightening you with my Quasi Theory of the Week. You may read the text of this on my blog at bydean.com. It's BHAIDIN.com.
Oh, if you've got the guts to do it. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Sir Dean of the Lounge. That's right. You have been knighted for your wisdom. Speaking of wisdom, July 9th through the 11th, the Pi Pi Expedition. That's right, Expedition Pi Pi. We are going into the Pi Valley, which is the bottom portion of the Central Divide, about 30 miles south of the burned out area around Stumpy, and it is awesome. I mean, it is just the lushness, the thickness, the forest is so alive there that it's absolutely insane. I mean, I felt like it's unlike a place I've been before, to be honest with you. And I've been to a lot of places. The incense pine and cedar is so strong that you can't smell the smog. You can't see the smog. It's all gone. You go from the high ridges of 4,400 and you plunge down, 500 feet down into this valley. And the middle fork of the Consumus River runs right through the campground. I mean, literally, it makes a big turn, comes right down the side of the campground. There's a concrete walk that goes along it. There's fishing docks that goes along it. But I saw signs of bear. I saw signs of bobcat. I saw signs of trash pandas. I saw signs of deer. And that was just on the 6-mile ride in through the forest. So it is in pretty deep, but it gets a lot of use. There's a lot of campers there, but there's a lot of hiking going on there. There's 2 main trailheads, a 13-mile and a 26-mile trail that runs right out of that campground as well. Plus, it is the public gold mining grounds for this part of California. You can actually go there with a pan and a shovel and do some prospecting while you're in the campground, as well as fishing. There's wild trout that runs throughout the park as well. It's absolutely one of those magical little places that I don't ever I'm glad I found that I don't want to miss. So July 9th, 10th, and 11th, we're going to be there. I still have 3 spaces open to go with us. So if you want to go for it, the place is already paid for. All you can do is pay your way to show up and survive those 3 days. And you can come camping with the Rev. Just send me an instant message or send me an email, and I will definitely put a spot down for you. We can have up to 6 people with us. So all righty then. Hey, let's take a look in the revival tent tonight and see who is hanging out there. All right, tonight we got a bunch of people checked in early. Miss Starshine, that's right, she was out here swinging her tool early on. Miss Natalie Smith, how you doing? Hope you're feeling better. Jeremy Harrison, hello, sir. I know you're not listening now, but you'll be in the morning, so I guess it gets you some sleep, sir. Mr. Gent, there he is. That's right. He's giving me the 2-fingered salute. I think that's a good thing. James the Grower, fist pounding it out. Yeah, baby. Shane Barber, the cryptid monster. There you go. How you doing there, sir? Mr. Ding, 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 Cooper. That's right, our quasi-scientist. He is a genius. Clan Squanch, how you doing there? So glad you are with us as well. Sharon Willen, she's checking in with us tonight. How you doing? Glad we're all here. There's some Brown Dwarf. How you doing, Brown Dwarf? Hey man, you want to go camping? Let me know. Like I said, I still got 3 spots open. And then we got Mr. Timothy McCune. How you doing? I hope this show is making your day at least end on a better note than most days do for you, it seems lately. Sorry, brother, to say that. I know it's frustrating. That is for sure. Don Rife, how you doing, man? Man, I really wanted to come down to the pirate thing. I just wasn't able to make it, and I was really mad about it because I had planned on going like almost the whole year. Rod Dupree, there he is. He's always irreplaceably Reverend Rodney Dupree. Hello, Reverend. Keith Harden is in the house. How you doing there, Keith? Spike Jeff, he's checking in with us with Obsidian Radio. There you go. Huzzah to you as well, sir. Let's see here. I know there was more than this down here. There's the Reverend Matthew Gaines. Hello, Reverend Matthew. Glad you could join us, Reverend. Pretty soon it'll be close. Hot diggity dog. These streams always start around 10 o'clock in my area. Well, 8 p.m. Pacific. So that would probably put you in the Central Time Zone. All right, let's see here. Who else is digging? There's Lewis. How you doing, pal? Glad you were with us. Hey, man, be safe out there on the trail. That man's going to do 200 plus miles on the trail. That is absolutely insane in my book. I'm glad you're healthy enough to do it. Watch out for the bars. Hey, remember, there's a difference between, we don't have grizzly bears down there. You don't have to worry about that. Never mind. I was going to say, the difference between brown bears and black bear poop, right? Black bear poop's full of vegetation and berries and that kind of thing. Grizzly bear poop's full of little bells and smells like pepper spray. It's a longer joke that I don't have time for. Let's see here. Sam Squanch Rivera, where the hell have you been, sir? I was just about to send out the search party for you. I don't know where you've been, but damn it, I'm glad you are back, sir. Because I really was actually kind of starting to get a little worried about you. What do I think? I don't think about them. That's what I think, hot diggity. Not at all. Let's see here. Wheezy, how you doing, Wheezy? Glad you're along with us tonight as well. Oh God. Nesh Obiquai Baldwin. Hello from the Pacific Northwest, Oregon. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Chris Wright, how you doing, sir? That would be the way it goes. All right. And that, my friends, is who's hanging out in the Squatchers Lounge Revival tent tonight. So we are talking about the Texas Big Thicket the Big Thicket Park. Sorry, there's a show called that I knew some people. Anyhow, yeah, the Texas Big Thicket National Preserve. Village Creek runs right through the middle of it, and lots of Bigfoot researchers feel that this area of the Big Thicket National Preserve is something to really be special in Sasquatch. In Sasquatch. So much so that there were teams running, guide services out of there without permits for a while. They finally got shut down as well. It's kind of when this whole let's sue the government to prove that Bigfoot works so that we can have our Bigfoot tours legitimized, because that's really what everybody's trying to do. They're trying to prove Bigfoot exists so that they can have their Bigfoot tours legitimized so that they can, make a bunch of money off of it. Anyhow, I went out and I found some Big Thicket howls and some creepy stuff to listen to tonight. And the first one I got up here is a coyote bunch. And in the middle of the coyotes, all of a sudden something else starts to chime in. And that's not unlike things we've heard before. So I've got a minute of the original audio, and I'll play that for you. And then I've got an 18-second enhancement out of it. Now, this one's going to be kind of crappy. So if you got your volume way up, you might want to be careful. Now, I know that might have been really difficult to pull out of there. So I've got an 18-second enhancement here that might be able to help out. But about 47 seconds into them coyote howls, something deeper and darker and longer and bigger lunged sounded off right in the middle of it. Let's see if we can hear it in this one. Now, I'll play that for you again. Listen right at the very beginning. You can hear the standard. Now, the next set that I have here, again, it's going to be a short set. As I believe, is two fellows talking about the response howl from some call blasting that they had done. Now, I searched and searched and searched for the original, and I never found it. This is really the only place that I did actually find this. However, it's really obvious as to what's going on, and it's actually very impressive to me.
You're going to hear a recorded Ohio howl, and in about 20 seconds, you're going to hear a real Sasquatch response, and it's extremely almost frightening because the response to the recorded one is so full and loud and penetrating.
Right. So, this is my favorite recording I think of all time. This is a Texas response. There's the call blasting. And there's the Texas response. Oh, gee, they kicked it a minute. Here it is again. Recording. My goodness.
Now, I was able to cut out about 18 seconds of that and enhance it up quite a bit. But that is exactly what you hope for in a call blasting type of situation, where you send out the call blast and you get a response from a local animal, not something that's 10, 20 kilometers away.
And there's the Texas response. Oh, gee, they kicked it a minute. Here it is again.
I mean, whatever that is, it definitely did not like that call blasting call at all.
And there's the Texas response. Oh, gee, they kicked it a minute. Here it is again.
For me, there doesn't seem to be any real doubt as to what that response call was. Now, this last one is a family out on a hike. They goof around and they do this Sasquatch howl and they get a response. And the mother then kicks on her phone and starts to record. It's about 50 seconds for the original, and we'll take a listen to it. It's a very aggressive yell that the guy uses, and I'm not sure if he's replicating what he just heard, but let's take a listen to it.
I don't want to track you.
One time. Do you think it was a person?
Whoa!
Do you think that was a person?
It was. I mean, might have been.
I'm like shaking right now.
I was.
Okay. That scared me. I don't know. Shh. Listen. I have to get it on tape. Holy God.
Holy God. That's what the lady was really feeling out of that. Now, I pulled a 30-second enhancement that should help bring the screams out. Unfortunately, the voices step on both of the screams that we do hear, but I do believe I've got them enhanced enough to be able to be heard.
Do you think that was a person?
It was. I mean, might have been.
I'm like shaking right now.
I was.
Okay. That scared me. I don't know. Shh. Listen. I have to get it on tape.
The crows were alerting in the background. The other wildlife was aware that whatever this was going on in a response. Take a listen to it again. It's definitely present.
Whoa! Do you think that was a person?
It was. I mean, might have been.
I'm like shaking right now.
I was.
Okay. That scared me. I don't know. Shh. Listen. I have to get it on tape.
Whatever it was definitely not happy. I was able to pull that one roar out as close as I could and enhance the peak out of it. It's real short, but let's take a listen to it. It's the type of thing that I don't want to hear when I'm out Bigfoot investigating. I mean, I want to hear it, but I don't necessarily want to hear it up close and personal. That is for sure. There's a lot of groups to check out the Big Thicket. I don't doubt that that there's Sasquatch in the area. Especially through the preserve itself. If you look at we switch the preserve over to the satellite map, of course, it'll show us that it's one giant forest from one end of it to the other end of it. If the thing will go fast enough for us. Tonight, that's going to do it for us here at the end of the Squatchers Lounge podcast. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We have another real Bigfoot encounter for everybody. I'm not going to wait on that the rest of the night. No, sir. Bob, we'll be back again next week with another edition of the Squatchers Lounge podcast. For now, I'd like to thank you guys for being here. Let's take a quick look out, make sure we didn't miss anybody. Looks like we caught everybody this week. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here. We will see you next week and enjoy another real Bigfoot encounter flashback. This one is hunting property Bigfoot. Yeah, that's right. Hunting property Bigfoot. It's a good one. Welcome to another edition of Real Bigfoot Encounters with Reverend Jeff. This week's story comes to us from the Redwood Coast of California. Two friends set off to investigate a Bigfoot sighting and end up getting much more than they bargained for. Let's listen to their story. My buddy Keith and I had heard a story from his Uncle Pete about a Bigfoot running around on his hunting land. Pete had been out setting up game camps for the hunting season when he started finding huge footprints and other evidence around the area that he had been watching. Pete had called Keith and I and asked us to come up and investigate it for the weekend to see if we could get the beast on camera. How could we resist? We packed up our squatching gear and we hit the road for a 6-hour trip. We arrived at the location on Wednesday night. We set up a light camp and just settled in to cook up some food when it started already. A tree knock rang out from the wood line behind us. Keith jumped up and grabbed the camera just in time to catch a single whoop on video. Boy, were we excited. We had been on many investigations, but never had much action, and never in such a recently active location. We left the camera running, as well as started the digital recorder, but the rest of the night was just silent. At first light, we set out from the camp to start looking for evidence. We couldn't tell exactly where the tree knock and whoop had come from, but the direction was clear, so that was where we began our hunt for evidence. Pete had drawn us a map of the locations on the property that he had found the footprints, so we had known that we were in the right location. Keith had found an area at the tree line that was awful disturbed, looked like an animal had been pacing back and forth, and the tree in the middle of all that mess had a fresh scar on the side of it, what appears to be hit with a branch. Perhaps it was our tree knock location. We took pictures of the disturbance in the tree, but there wasn't anything near enough to call the case closed. Keith and I set out to check the other locations on the map. We had moved from game cam to game cam without much to notice, but there was a sense of being watched that followed us the whole day. From time to time, the wind would shift, and that odd stink of wet dog wrapped in diaper filled with Indian food would rise up and disappear just as fast. But it seemed to follow us all day. I noticed Keith kept looking over his shoulder, and I thought that he was, but I was soon to find out the truth. Keith stopped dead in his tracks halfway down the hill, causing me to crash into his back, and we both fell to the ground. He grabbed me to keep me from rolling down further, but we were looking at the same place on the hill, and sure enough, at the top, there was something tall and dark peeking from behind a tree. Keith reached for the video camera, but sadly the creature disappeared from sight before it could be turned on, but we were certain of what we saw. We decided that was enough to continue no further. We didn't need to go through the map anymore, as it was pointless. To be honest, we were both a little freaked out. So we gathered up everything and headed back to camp. Keith kept the video camera running all the way back to camp, mostly pointing at us as we were walking, hoping to catch a glimpse of the Bigfoot. But once again, we were skunked. Not a sight, not a sound. We spent the afternoon getting ready for the night. He had heard that one tree knock was a warning and that 3 tree knocks was the all clear, so just at nightfall he stood up and walked over to the tree and smacked it 3 times with a long axe handle. The knocks rang out for miles. We had brought a bunch of chem lights to use as an attraction, so we went out and hung red glow sticks in the trees and put 2-gallon water jugs filled with blue ones near the wood line where the sounds had rung out the night before, and we set a camera up to record them all. Well into the night, we saw and heard nothing until we realized the crickets had gone silent. Maybe this was our chance. Keith began a Bigfoot howl, but not a moment after he started, a whoop rang out from behind us. Of course, the one place we weren't recording. Keith spun around and whooped right back at it, and then the trees crashed as if something had stumbled, and then something ran off in the dark. Then silence again. An hour later, a tree knock set off, just a single. Keith set off another Bigfoot call, but the response was something we were not expecting. A gunshot rang out in the dark, and followed by screams of men screaming, "It's over here!" And in moments, our camp was filled with 10 men. The situation got scary for a moment until we got Keith's Uncle Pete on the phone, and the men knew Pete. Those men had been following something that had grabbed chickens from a nearby farm. They had tracked it in our direction, and that's how they ended up almost shooting us. We sat down and we told them what we'd seen all weekend, and we told them it was Bigfoot. And we'd seen it that afternoon. Half of them believed us. The other half just laughed and said that they were going to be a dead Bigfoot if it doesn't stop stealing. Then the men packed up their hunt and headed back to the trucks and called it a night. A few hours later, the sun was up. We hadn't seen or heard anything the rest of the night. We checked the area for prints, but with all of the leaf litter, there just wasn't anything we could use. So we took down the chem lights and picked up the water jugs. It wasn't until we reached the truck when I noticed a handprint on the side of the water bottle. The shape sure didn't seem like it was human, and it was gigantic. I'd smudged it. It was pretty much ruined it for anything worthwhile. Just as the last of the gear was packed up and the last door was shut, I swear I heard 3 tree knocks ring out from behind our camp. But that just could have been my imagination. We told Pete about the encounters and the run-in with the men, and he suggested we try again after hunting season. Perhaps he was right. For these 2 men, Bigfoot was all fun and games until he actually showed up. For me, this was just another real Bigfoot encounter. Thanks for listening. I'm Reverend Jeff. May the Squatch be with you. Hey, I see Big Yeti's uncle got out here in there late. I'm sure Christopher is watching tonight. Say hi to Squatch Box and also our buddy Oreo Cream Rocks. We will see everybody next week. Thanks so much for being here, and may the Squatch be with you.